The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Welcome to Beyond the Garden Gate. Today we're sharing two completely different garden types. First, we'll visit a fabulous foliage garden, a true feast for the eyes. The dictionary describes the word feast as affording great pleasure to the senses, and Dennis Murray's foliage garden is every inch the epitome of that definition. Then we'll tour a cozy, eclectic garden that thrives on Joe Giniusz's casual gardening style. The gorgeous bank of roses along the front fence welcomes visitors, but it's only a hint of what's waiting beyond. Filming very early in the morning also guaranteed the mosquitoes were out in full force and determined every chance they got to get onto the camera's lens. Now let's start today's tour beyond the garden gate. The first thing you notice about Dennis's garden is the unusual sculpture that greets visitors. Hello, I'm Linda Temporino. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Beyond the Garden Gate. Today we're in Nashua and we're visiting the garden of Dennis Murray. Thank you so much for letting us to come in and see your garden. Everyone, you have a wonderful, wonderful treat ahead of you. This garden is very unlike any other I have ever been in. And I'd like to start off with this post. It says on the top, what does it say on the top? May peace
prevail on earth.
And where did this come from?
That was a project of my wife, Jane. She was instrumental in getting a number of these installed around the city. One at First Church, a couple at the high schools here in Nashua. I think it just sets the tone for the whole garden, as well as where I hope society is heading.
It's very interesting, and it's in all different languages.
Yes.
It's in English and Spanish and Greek, Hebrew. It's just beautiful. What is this made of, do you know?
This one is aluminum, but I believe they're available in various types of wood. Not quite sure where the company is, but I do know she has the information and the contacts.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's take a walk around the back of the yard, back of the house, and see what we've got to look at.
Wonderful.
On the side yard, the greenhouse holds several different variety of his cacti collection, mostly indigenous to Arizona and New Mexico. Well, we've moved off to the side yard and we have these magnificent, beautiful, beautiful trees. What are these, Dennis?
These are a form of Japanese holly called ilex, and I've probably had them for about 8 years now, and when they were shipped to me, they were shipped bare root, and they were probably only about 16 inches tall.
And that was how many years ago?
About 8 years.
Wow, they're fast growing.
Yes.
They are, certainly.
They seem to like the spot.
Yeah, nice and sunny. And a beautiful red maple, Japanese red maple back here. It's just gorgeous. And what is this here?
That's a juniper, a Japanese juniper.
Now, did you do all the stonework?
I did the stonework. I hired someone to come in with a bobcat and cut into the hill, and then a friend of mine and myself, we laid all the stones. I think there's 700 and something blocks.
I bet you know every one of them.
At 60 pounds apiece.
Oh, that was a workout. So, okay, let's go over here and visit your friends in the pond.
Sure.
Well, we're joined by these magnificent looking koi. I've never seen koi this big. And they are just, how many do you have?
I believe there's 7 in there. I have 2 more down in the cellar, keeping my filters running for the summer because they spend the winter months down in the cellar.
How big is the tank down there? Because these are mighty large fish.
It's about 300 gallons.
Wow.
This pond holds about 1,200 the way it is.
Now, I've never seen a pond like this. How did you manage to find this, or did you make it?
Actually, my son and I dug the hole. And I made the form myself, had a truck come in and poured the cement. During the pour, one of the walls blew out, and we did have to stop the pour and dig out some cement and schedule another pour, but we finally got it done.
Wow. And this piece, this is not part of it? This is a separate piece?
I installed that last year. I had always wanted to include some water plants separate from the main pond, and this has allowed me to do that and just kind of expand the garden in another direction.
Is this bamboo?
That is a papyrus.
Papyrus. Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
And the sedge is over there.
Yeah, very vigorous growing. Water hyacinth.
Water hyacinth.
And
now, why don't you have the plants in with the fish?
Because the fish not only will eat the plants, but they will root in the potting medium, and it just creates a mess. It all gets sucked up in the filters, and creates a lot more work than I really care to have.
It's really, I mean, the water is nice and clear. How deep does it go?
This is 3 feet deep. It's approximately 9 feet across.
Yeah. Do you have to drain it in the winter?
I drain about half of it, and I leave it about half full in order to equalize some of the pressure from the freezing and thawing.
Yeah.
But it's really a source of a real source of relaxation.
Oh, it's very tranquil.
Yeah.
I want to lay down and take a nap. So. And this is a beautiful specimen of wisteria that you have here.
Yeah, that plant is about 34 years old. I think that was the first thing that I stuck in the ground when we moved here.
It's beautiful. And I see you have some nice little pods. Have you ever taken the pods and grown them from seed?
Yes, I have one of the offspring across the yard there, and I pull up more of these a year than I do any other kind of weed.
They can be a nuisance. So, well, let's go to another part of the yard, which is even more spectacular. Well, while we were walking from the koi pond to this garden, we almost missed this little waterfall behind us, which it's very much into the shade, so it doesn't photograph very well, but it is very, very pretty and very relaxing. And you said that this was the beginning of that. Is that true?
That was the inspiration for the koi pond. I initially constructed this waterfall and had a few goldfish in there, and my wants got bigger, and so did my pond.
Very good. Okay, let's check out this garden now. I love all the different textures and colors that you have in this garden. What is this beautiful, bright, greenish yellow behind us?
That's one of the Japanese maples. I believe it's called Golden Dream.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And how big will that get?
I'm told it'll only get about 6 to 8 feet.
Okay, not in this garden.
But a lot of times we're kind of led astray with some of that.
Well, it's got to catch up to some of these other upright plantings that you have. And can we walk over there and take a peek at these?
Sure.
We have here a beautiful weeping beech. Is that a beech?
That's a weeping purple beech, a fountain beech.
Fountain beech.
I'm told that reach 30 to 40 feet.
Wow.
But it'll certainly outgrow its space, but I don't think I'll be around when that happens.
Not in our lifetime, no, because they are pretty enormous. And I love the way you've repeated the color down here, the color that's in the beech.
Yeah, I think for some of that you need to back up, from a distance and see just where you need those little splashes. And
now this light post, that looks like something out of Central Park in New York.
I found the fixture, the upper fixture, one day when I was jogging in the trash.
Oh.
And I fabricated the lamppost out of PVC pipe.
Now, does it actually work, or is it just decorative?
It works. It's tied into the landscaping lighting, and I also have a 110 light bulb in it with a switch.
Nice, nice.
So there is some illumination out here at night, and you know, it's just as nice to come out here and sit in the evening if the bugs aren't out.
Yeah. And your neighbors have the best view in the world of this garden.
That they
All
do.
they have to do is just look down, and and they don't have any of the work.
No, they're very good about our privacy, and
very nice.
we get along well, so there's not many problems there.
Okay, we have one more section to take a look at. Well, this part of the garden certainly has an oriental flavor to it. Was that the intent, or did it just happen?
It seems to be the direction that it's going now, but it kind of evolved that way. It wasn't totally intentional in the beginning, but I'm certainly happy with the direction, and I find it a little more interesting than the average gardening.
And I love this wall in the front here, with and you have a couple of bonsai trees.
That was a new interest of mine about a year and a half ago. Decided to expand a little bit in that direction, and that was my latest addition this spring to my hardscape. So,
yeah, and I love the way you put in the boxwood in between. It really softens it.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with the way it turned out. Like most everything else, it's trial and error, so some things may get moved before the end of the year. And
oh, that looks perfect to me right there.
Well, thank you.
It's just a wall that you can see right through it.
Yeah, I think some of the inspiration comes from some of the European ruins where you see a lot of the crumbling stone and the plants intermingled. I kind of like that look.
And where did you find these? What do you call these? The uprights there.
They're balusters, from a railing somewhere. They're recycled, and I found them at a salvage yard over near the coast.
Very nice. It's nice that we can repurpose these things.
It definitely is. A lot of what I do comes from my ideas, as well as some of the materials come from places just like that.
Wonderful. So we're heading over here to the shed, which is absolutely adorable. And is that another one of your wonderful creations?
It is. Actually, that was built about the same time we planted the wisteria. Mm-hmm. One of my soccer friends came over, and we put it up in a weekend.
It's lovely.
And it's been re-roofed a couple times, and there's been some additions and some subtractions from it. But yeah, I think it adds a lot to the landscape.
Yeah. And this here, what is this?
That's an Alaskan cedar.
An Alaskan cedar.
Again, I think it'll top out about the same height as the beech will. It's a cultivar called Green Arrow. It's a very narrow growing plant. It probably won't get much wider, but it'll certainly get a lot taller.
Yeah. It doesn't have any fragrance like normal, or do you have to pull it off?
I think you have to
pull at
actually break the leaves, yeah.
These make wonderful decorations at the holiday.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I hadn't thought of that.
Oh yeah. And here we have another wisteria.
Yeah,
that's an offshoot
of the offspring we talked about earlier. Yeah. They're very prolific. If you put one in, you better be willing to keep an eye on it.
Well, that's why we took ours out. We had 4 of them, and every weekend my husband was up there trimming, and we said, no, we're going to do away with this.
Right.
So, okay, we have one more section of the yard in the front, and you have a very unusual growth on your euonymus.
Oh,
it's the biggest one I've ever seen.
Well.
You certainly do have an assortment of unusuals. What is this lovely?
That's called buckthorn.
Buckthorn.
And not a lot, but like some of the plants that I've acquired, I just kind of stumble upon them and try and figure out where they would fit in rather than going out looking for them. Mm-hmm. And this was one of them.
So you find something you like, and then you just find a home for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what is that yellowish plant that's growing?
That's called Creeping Jenny.
Creeping Jenny. All right.
It's very aggressive the way it grows, but it's easy to contain.
It's a nice ground cover.
Yeah.
Speaking about ground covers, look at this Euonymus you have back here. It has forgotten that it's a ground cover.
That was, again, one of the first plants that I stuck in, and it seemed to find its own direction. I expected it to go horizontally, and
that's what most of them do.
And it started climbing up the chimney, and I have to trim it once a year, keep it below the roof line. And actually, during one of the large snowstorms we had, I woke up in the morning to find it laying all the way out here on the ground.
Wow.
It had pulled itself away.
What, is it on a trellis?
No, it attaches. They actually have little hairs that attach to the...
Little tendrils.
So it is now wired up there.
Oh, good. Good.
Well, but yeah, it's
a beauty.
Yeah.
Well, Dennis, thank you so much. It's been
my pleasure.
Wonderful, wonderful morning and thank you so very much. And I hope we can come again at another time of the year and see how your garden looks in the autumn, maybe.
Thank you. I'd like that.
Okay. After the wonderful tour Dennis gave us, I had a chance to sit by the koi pond and watch him feed the fish. You just can't help but enjoy their playful antics. Hello, I'm Linda Temporino. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Garden Gate. Today we're here in this beautiful garden of Joe Giniusz in Nashua. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Got
Linda.
you up early?
Yeah, I didn't remember we were doing this.
Well, you have a beautiful, beautiful garden. I love all of these wonderful roses. Do you remember what kind they are? No.
No. Yeah, at the moment I don't.
Okay. And what do you do to create
Nothing.
these
Actually,
gorgeous?
I do nothing.
You do
I
nothing?
used to do everything and they didn't do well. So I stopped doing anything and they do better.
That's great. Maybe there's some type of a wild rose.
God, I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But I think they might be some type of a wild rose
yeah.
that just thrives on neglect.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, well, let's take a walk back and see what you have hidden behind the house.
Okay.
Well, on our way back to the backyard, we decided to stop off here and take a peek at what we have growing. And did you plant all of this, Joe?
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of this I did. Some of it just came up by itself, as it always does. And
you get a gift from the birds.
Yeah.
You get a gift from the birds.
It used to be a lawn, but never. This side did well. This side didn't. So one day I just dug it all up.
That's
and just
great.
started planting.
Isn't that unusual how, one section of the yard does so well with the plant and
These two trees were planted at the same time. And they're the same size. And they just that one does nothing. Everything on this side does not do as well as everything on this side. I have no idea.
Does this tree flower in the spring? It's a plum?
Yeah. Most year, every other year, it has so many plums it breaks branches. But as you can see, there's only a few plums on it right now.
Yeah.
And this pear tree has only, and they're, like I said, they're the same age. This one is only paired once.
But this is a pear, and this is a plum.
But they were the same size.
All
and look at the difference in this side just doesn't. This is the hottest side of the yard, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you might have some ledge down there.
I don't know.
You may have some ledge, and the roots don't get down there.
Yeah, well, it's supposedly the person who lived here before had done this all over with new dirt and everything. So I don't know. This is pretty much farmland up here.
Yeah. How old is this house?
1930s.
Yeah, I thought it was it's a pretty old neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a very old neighborhood.
Yeah. We have Rose Companion.
Or Campion, whatever you want to say it, yeah.
And are those Stelladors?
Yeah,
or they are
Stelladors.
happy returns?
Oh.
And Yarrow.
Yep.
And these wonderful daisies that are so unusual. I've never seen more black-eyed Susies.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't plant anything?
Well, I plant some of this stuff, but that stuff just comes up in the Rose Companion or whatever comes up. And I just let it come up where it wants to come up.
Okay, let's take a few more steps forward and keep on going.
Good.
Well, we're slowly working our way back into the garden, but we had to stop and check this out. This is a beautiful holly bush, and it's really, it looks like it's nice and healthy, Joe.
Yep.
And the berries turn red in the fall.
Yeah, and then there's a yellow one too.
Yellow one.
There's
Neat.
a yellow one in the middle.
Well, I know where I'm coming to clip some holly in this
Please do,
holidays.
because I don't cut it in
You don't.
summer. I wait till the holidays.
Yeah.
And that's when I cut everything back because it needs cutting now, as you can see. But why waste the ornamental part of it? Yeah.
It's nice and healthy. And we have another beautiful section of the yard back here. Well, let's continue on the path and check out this little hidden garden that you have back here.
Let's go. If you can get under everything.
It's a little wet.
It is.
So now we're in the hidden garden, and it's just as cute as anything. It reminds me of has a lot of English flair to it, where it's just kind of growing and
that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted it to look like it was been here for years and years, and so I got stuff from people's houses, like the brick, and I went to the construction sites and got the stone, and these little round circle things I got from a woman in Hollis. But other than that,
Pierce Lane.
Pierce Lane, is that where it is?
Yeah.
Whatever her name is, BJ.
She's gone. She's no longer doing. She
doesn't do, but she has the place in. She has the pet store.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same person, but anyways, she made all these little round things.
I have a few of the stepping stones.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to look, and the only reason this is like this is because this is where the lawn died, would not grow. So wherever the most weeds were, or the deadest part of the yard, is where the walkways went. That's how it got here.
That's a great way to do it.
Yep.
And you've got some Christmas trees back here. Are these trees that you had in your house at one time for the holidays?
No.
You just planted them.
They came from someone who had a tree farm, and they'd get them from the state or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were this big.
Yeah. Nice.
There was nothing in this yard.
Yeah.
Except the around border of
and you've
lilacs
got some lilacs.
stuff. Yeah. Those were here. Everything else, there was nothing. It was a flat yard.
Okay. But I love the walkway.
I wanted it to look old, and it does.
Well, it does. It really does.
I sometimes think I should, clean it all up really good. And make it nicer, but I like it.
People come out here with beer and yogurt and paint it to get this look, and you've got it. Don't destroy it. It looks really, really good. And this is something we don't see in New England too often. It's a cactus. And it reminds me a great deal of the prickly pear cactus.
Yes, it's on that idea, I think.
It's on that idea.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that, does it stay nice and green like this all
summer? And it blossoms, as you can see, it's starting to blossom now, and all those are the buds. Another week or so, and this thing will be all bright yellow. There's a few that opened up earlier, but and later on this afternoon, I'm sure there'll be a few more. But we're here very early in the morning, so. And it just flattens out. In the wintertime, it goes totally flat. And it looks dead.
It turns brown?
Well, pretty much, yeah. It looks really ugly.
It looks really ugly.
Yeah, it does.
But who cares with all the snow we have,
And my son has it, and I told him, don't. He said, Dad, I think it's dead. I said, no, it's not dead. Just leave it alone. It'll come back. And it does. As soon as the heat hits it, it stands right up, and this is what it looks like.
It doesn't get much taller.
No, this is it. No, this is it. But it just keeps spreading.
Right.
But I've seen it down in Connecticut at the beach. On the rocks, it grows anywhere. You can't kill it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
And we have a nice little patio area with some nice furniture. I love this umbrella. That's a beauty.
It's very old.
It is?
Yeah, it needs to be replaced probably.
Oh, wow. Well, it's very lovely. So now we're going to get over into the herb garden so we can take a little walk over through there. Mama the cat led the way. Well, now we're in the middle of Joe's herb and vegetable garden. We have some tomatoes. Are those onions over there?
Yes, yep.
They're onions. And tell me about this. This is something I've never seen before.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're called. We were driving back from North Carolina, and they were on the side of the road, and there was white ones and purple ones, and I just grabbed a couple of the seed heads. And they've been here for years, and just the last year or so, they've taken off. I had maybe one that would make it through for the last 10 or 15 years. And now they're everywhere.
Wow.
So whatever it needed to do, it does.
Wow, and you've got some lettuce
Yep.
down here
Yep.
too.
Yep.
Looks like a little bit of broccoli.
Actually, no, that's came up in the compost pile. Came up in the
company.
Oh,
Little company there.
it came up in the compost pile. It's we call it squash, those winter squashes.
Oh my gosh, that'll take over the whole garden, won't it?
Yeah, butternut squash. It's a butternut
Okay,
squash. So I thought,
nice.
oh, what the heck?
Yeah,
Throw it in
we'll
there.
make some pumpkin pies with those.
Oh, see, and that's that's the pileated woodpecker you heard on the. See him up there?
Yeah.
It's the,
Oh, he's a big one.
Oh, they're like this big.
Yeah.
He lives in the neighborhood. See how
Look
big
at
he
the
is?
size of him.
He's over here on this tree. It's huge.
These pieces, these metal.
Those used to.
What are they?
They used to hang a little light, a little candle thing on them,
Uh-huh.
and they've been outside for years and they died. So I thought, well, they look good in the garden.
They do.
So I put them in the garden. I use
Very-
whatever I
Very
can,
structural.
like that little branch. The birds never went to the bird bath until I put that branch there. So I painted it a little pinky color. I was going to do purple. That one right there by the bird bath.
Okay.
The dead thing.
Yeah,
That's
it looks like a Harry Lawler's walking cane stick.
So the birds land on that.
Well, they like to perch.
Yeah, and then they go in the bird bath, and I have to put a stick across the bird bath so that the bees and stuff can land and get some water.
Oh, aren't you sweet?
Oh, yeah, I'm a good man.
Yeah, good guy. Gonna taking care of the birds and the bees, huh?
Yeah, well.
Okay, let's continue on. I'd like to check out this peach tree over there.
That's been there for a lot of years, too.
Well, we're over here at the peach tree, but this caught my eye as well. What is this, Joe?
I think it's called an orchid cactus, and it's not the prettiest plant, but it has the prettiest blossoms.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bug in there.
Well, that's supposed to be probably.
Yeah, probably. But you're right. It's not a very
it's not
pretty
it goes down
plant.
cellar all winter. It doesn't get watered, and I bring it up, and this is what it does. It
Do you put it
blossoms.
under a grow light or
Nothing.
anything?
No, it goes in the dark
It
downstairs.
goes in the
It's just,
dark.
yeah,
It goes
It makes it. It makes it. It doesn't make it. It doesn't make it.
Wow. And
Probably if
that's-
I did take better care of it, it would be greener and nicer looking.
Yeah,
but
maybe. Yeah.
You know,
And this peach tree
came from a peach pit.
came from a peach pit, so you
Yep.
don't know what variety
And
is.
it never comes back the same.
Oh my goodness.
Whatever, because all fruit trees, from what I understand, are grafted.
Right.
So it never, whatever the original is, that's what this is.
Yeah.
And it's not the same.
So
it's
you
not
don't
the
put-
same peach I ate.
But it could be Lull Farm or Market Basket. So, okay.
They come up everywhere in the yard. The squirrels always
Oh, the squirrels.
bury them all.
Yeah.
I have peach trees everywhere. I have to keep digging them up and giving them away.
Now, do you debud some of the peaches?
No.
You don't?
They do it by themselves.
Oh, they do it.
Yeah,
I
to
see them
if they
down
fall
there.
down. Yeah, you
They're
get-
getting to be a nice size.
yep.
When do they? When can you pick them?
End of August, beginning of September.
Nice.
Yeah. Usually,
Nice.
this tree gets so loaded. It's not as loaded as it usually is, but it gets so loaded that I have to hold it up with sticks because the peaches just weight it right down to the ground.
You brace it with a
Yeah.
stick
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
to hold it
Yeah.
up. Yeah. Well, it looks nice and healthy.
Yeah, for an old tree.
So, okay, let's just one more little section of the yard, and I think we've made our full turnaround.
Thank you.
We're in the final corner of the yard, and I see we have a grapevine.
Yep.
Does it bear fruit?
Not the little ones. I don't know what they are. They never make good fruit, but I pick the grape leaves to make stuffed grape leaves. So it came up by itself.
That's great.
Another thing that came up by itself.
Yeah. And I see you have a compost
I
bin
do.
back here.
I do, and
So,
there's one over there, too.
So this is pretty much of an organic garden.
Very much. I use very little poison to take care of the fruit trees, and it's all organic, and I only do it like once or twice a year, and because I have 2 cats that I don't want walking on poison or eating poison stuff. So.
So, and I'm fascinated again with these black-eyed
Susans,
Susies.
yep.
They're so unique. Everyone is a little bit different. I mean, they have different heights to them,
Yep, and
different coloration.
Yep, the coloration changes all the time. I never know where they're going to kind of come up, and I don't know what they're going to look like.
A gift from Mother Nature.
Yeah, that's right.
A gift, another
Yep.
gift. Well, thanks again for joining us for another episode of Beyond the Garden Gate. Please join us again. Bye for now.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.